you, right? Where'd Shaq go after he left Cleveland?
Did he go to the Suns?
Boston.
I forgot about that.
That's right. He went to Boston.
That's right. So Shaq was not Shaq. Okay. Shaq was not Shaq.
Okay, that's also not that's not a fair question.
Shaq also only played 53 games for Cleveland.
Yeah, look at his size. He can't play that many games.
He was never out in his prime, though. Like, Shaq was not one of those guys that you see on the
that's just what happens when you're a big guy. When you're a big guy, you don't last
How many games did AD play last year?
Oh, not many.
Did he miss a lot?
He held out, remember?
Oh, shit, that's
He was, quote-unquote, injured.
Yeah. Well, Kawhi was, quote-unquote, injured before he left the Spurs, too. So
I'm a little surprised you put Kawhi as number one. You hate Kawhi.
I do. I hate him, but I can respect game.
Why do you hate Kawhi?
So there's this ongoing theme right now in the NBA of, like, everybody loves Kawhi because he's quiet and he does all this shit. No, dude, he's not quiet.
He's fake quiet.
Yeah, it's all fake.
Yeah.
It's all fake. It's all just behind the scenes. It's like, you're not man enough to come and be. And so LeBron started it, and KD's been dealing with the bullshit, and KD can sit there and get crucified over all of his decisions.
KD and LeBron get crucified.
Exactly. But Kawhi's too scared. He's too scared to actually go and go through that
and lean into his personality.
That's exactly it, dude. And so, like, my biggest beef with Kawhi is that all of this shit. Okay, so we had these rumors going around whenever he left the Spurs. First of all, the way he left the Spurs was bullshit.
And why I would never want to.
An organization took care of you, right? They took care of him. They gave him everything that he wanted, and he was like, "I'm going to take my ball and go home."
That's not necessarily true, because there's a whole injury debacle where they said he was claiming to be injured and he wanted to sit for a little bit, and they didn't let him sit.
They let him sit.
You can say
they let him sit for how many games?
Like 20 games or something, right? It was a shit ton.
It was a large amount of games that he sat.
Yeah.
And they were like, you know what? Okay, listen. We have our team doctor that is clearing you. You want your own team doctor? You want your own doctor to clear you? That's fine. We'll wait. Yep. They waited. Did they not? They waited.
There's a big difference between the way.
And then he decided to run away to Toronto, and now he's just this hero in Canada, which I don't blame him for.
No, yeah.
They just wanted a fucking ring.
Right.
That's fine.
They knew what they were getting into.
Yeah, they knew. Of course they knew.
They signed him for 1 year.
Sure.
They went to generational talents, too. Like, they had their generational talents.
But don't give me all this bullshit that Kawhi is just like this, like, great dude that's just like, not in, like any of the... He's a bigger drama queen, in my opinion, than LeBron or KD.
Because it's quiet, too. So who knows
That's what I'm saying.
I think that's actually a really great take, because... Like, LeBron got this massive amount of heat, and he didn't get the hero's welcome. And like, nobody talks shit about LeBron now. Nobody cared that he left to go to LA.
I talk shit about LeBron all the time.
Yeah, I mean, you could do that if you'd like. You're still wrong, but you can do that if you'd like.
What?
But, like, LeBron had the big heat, and he did do the ultimate villain move and, like, announcing his move. KD did the absolute biggest villain move in the history of the NBA by joining a team he couldn't beat, like a bitch. I hate that move. But it's different than, like... Kawhi played for the San Antonio fucking Spurs. If you waited a minute, you were going to win a ring. That's just Popovich's track
Not to mention everything
and
that...
he already did. He was an NBA fucking Finals MVP.
Exactly. And not to mention everything that we've heard about Kawhi is that he wants his own team. He wants his own team. He wants to run his own team. How would you not run your own team in San Antonio?
There was nobody.
There was no... Like, everyone was retiring, and he knew this. He just didn't like the fact that Pop called his bitch ass out. About being a drama queen.
Yep.
And sitting there and saying, like, look, dude, this is what we expect out of you. So, no, I'm gonna go to Toronto. Well, he won a championship.
No
wonderful. Don't get me wrong. Now he's going over to the Clippers. How do you think?
Well, he went to the Clippers because he wanted to go home.
Yeah, but how do you think that he's gonna do with Doc Rivers? Doc Rivers is a player's coach. Doc Rivers is a player's coach, but he's a hard ass too. He has high expectations.
Because I have an entirely different opinion of Kawhi than you do. I think he'll be just fine.
I don't think so.
No, go on. What's your opinion of Kawhi?
I think Kawhi, I think it's fine. I think I respect more doing it behind the scenes instead of putting yourself in the limelight. I think that's a much better way to do things.
See, I'm not that way. I want you to own it.
No, and I'm fine with owning it, but I'm also cool with the whole like sneaking around and like. Yeah, doing backdoor conversations with the Clippers. I think that's kind of fucking cool. I'm really glad he didn't go to the Lakers and play with LeBron. I think that would have been bad for basketball. I think him doing this and going over to the Clippers is good for basketball.
That's a great take.
Because name a team in the West right now that doesn't have a big two. Like
Right.
I mean, sure, there are teams in the West that don't have a big two, but everybody has their fucking locked-in players.
I mean, even the Mavs.
Even the Mavs, we have Porzingis and Luka.
We have a big two. Everybody has a big two in the West right now.
And teams in the East have them now.
Right.
I think it was a good move.
But we're having a different argument, though, because you're saying it's better for basketball. I'm saying that I don't like Kawhi.
Well, I'm saying if he's good for basketball, then I like him. Like, if Kawhi is good for basketball, then I'm fine with him doing what he does.
So let me ask you this. Is your opinion going to change if he demands a trade if they don't, like...
Yeah, if he starts being a bitch, then yeah.
But he already has been.
I don't think he's being a bitch.
He demanded a trade out of San Antonio, did he not?
He demanded a trade out of San Antonio. He didn't re-sign with the Raptors, which his best chance of winning... The Clippers are going to be great next year. Don't get me wrong. But his best chance of winning was probably staying in Toronto.
I would argue that.
I'm going to bet that the Clippers win this whole thing next year.
Yeah, it's Clippers. You got to think the Clippers are the favorites now.
Clippers took the Golden State. Clippers took the Golden State Warriors to 6 games with nobody,
and they didn't lose many pieces.
Right.
And they didn't hardly lose anything. And they signed Kawhi and Paul George.
Do they still have Gallinari?
Yes. No, they bought him out.
Did they trade Gallinari in that Thunder trade?
I don't know where he went. Look it up real quick.
All right.
But they bought out Gallinari because I told you I thought they were going to buy out Gallinari. I'm sure he's not a Clipper now.
Okay.
So,
because if they still had Gallinari, that's oh god, because he's good. He's like super underrated.
He's very underrated. He's a good defender too. He was a great defender, a great scorer for the Nuggets when he played there. Great player. But I say the reason why I think that Kawhi had a better chance of winning with the Raptors is because chemistry does matter. Right. In that team.
He did get traded, by the way. He's a Thunder.
That's what I thought. Okay.
Gallinari, a Thunder.
Yeah, I didn't think they'd keep him on the Clippers.
Right.
So with Kawhi, right, so you already had this chemistry. Like, you already had this thing going with Kyle Lowry. Kyle Lowry was going to make a lot of mistakes. He was going to foul people when he shouldn't have. That's his game. Kyle Lowry's a risky player. He tries to go for the steal. He tries to go for the big play. That's what he does. Shoots bad shots, but ultimately you want Kyle Lowry on your team.
He's not a playoff guy, though.
He's not a playoff guy. No, and he wasn't a big part of why they won.
That was proven whenever DeRozan was there.
But you had a second and third fiddle there, or second, third, and fourth fiddle in that you already have chemistry with. Mm-hmm. Kawhi's the guy. He can shoot. He can do what he wants. He can pass to a Kyle Lowry. He can pass to a Siakam. He can pass to a Ibaka. Ibaka's great down low. You already have this core team, this chemistry that work together. And work together to beat the bad guys, right? Like, you beat the fucking Warriors. That team's great. So going to the Clippers, I mean, yeah, they were injured, but still.
So that's my thing. That's my thing. Like, the Raptors did beat the Warriors, sure. I wanted to see a healthy Warriors team because, as we all know, KD was already hurt.
Right.
Right? So you faced a Warriors team without KD.
Right.
And then he got hurt again when he tried to come back. Mm-hmm. So you're facing a Warriors team without, and we talked about it.
Right.
You know, KD is okay. So if KD doesn't get hurt, is he not?
He's the best player in the league.
Best player?
Yeah, he's the best player in the league when he's healthy. Right now,
he has to be, right?
I mean, he's here in his peak, and LeBron.
He's better than Kawhi, in my personal opinion. If he's healthy,
KD's better than Kawhi. Sure.
So he's number one in the league then,
because he's a more consistent scorer. He's not a better defender.
If he's healthy,
Kawhi's a better defender, but not by a lot, not by a wide margin.
But are we talking seasonally, or are we talking overall? Because if we're talking overall, then Kawhi's not my number one.
No, I'm just saying. I'm saying like this past season, right? If KD doesn't get, let's just in a fantasy world, KD doesn't get injured, in the playoffs at all, right? That's what my thing is that I wanted to see Toronto face an actual healthy Golden State team.
Yeah.
I think there were so many different storylines that led to Toronto winning that, don't get, and I'm not trying to discredit them because they went. My biggest deal is that it could have very easily been the 76ers in that place except for one shot, right? So let's not give Kawhi all this big credit because the thing is that, yeah, is he clutch? I'm not doubting that he's clutch, and I'm not doubting that he's great. But at the same time, they faced a banged-up Warriors team that, and let's also be real, the Warriors have been in the finals how many years in a row? They have that many more games that they've been playing compared to all the other teams. Right. That wears on you.
It does.
That wears on you.
Yeah.
100%. That Toronto Raptors were a first-round knockout last year.
Right. Yeah, Kawhi makes
because they
all
had
the
to play
difference.
Cleveland.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, think about all the games that they have on their legs and everything. And I know, that's a controversial debate of, how much. But my whole thing is that if the Warriors are healthy, I think the Warriors take them in 5.
I don't know. I am.
I think if the Warriors were healthy, it goes to 7.
No, I don't think so. Because how could it go to 7 when KD's healthy? When KD's healthy, you have a matchup between KD and Kawhi, which I wanted to see so bad.
Yeah, right.
Oh my God, I wanted to see that so bad. That is basketball.
Yeah,
that is basketball. It would have been right there.
It'd be like a relive or like a renew of the Kawhi and LeBron.
Dude, yeah.
My God, that Kawhi LeBron.
It was wonderful. It was wonderful. You get to it's just so rare that everything matches up that you get to see 1A, 1B play against each other, right? And I wanted to see that really, really badly. It's okay. Warriors were stacked. Don't get me wrong. Yeah. They should have won, even with KD going down. And
right.
It's okay. Raptors won. All I'm saying is that I don't respect Kawhi. I respect his game. I don't respect his decisions. And that's because I think that he's too scared to deal with the bullshit.
And I actually really do love that take because, again, like we talked about, like Kawhi, we've seen publicly him dealing with being the villain.
Right.
He hated being the villain, but he put it out there. Like
no one likes being the villain. They may say they do. No one likes being disliked.
Kevin Garnett liked being the villain.
That's fair.
Kevin Garnett was one of the most fucked up players ever.
Yeah, he was an OG.
Loved being the villain. Reggie Miller loved being the villain. There's a lot of players.
Dennis Rodman liked being a villain.
Rodman could not stand. He would never like being a hero.
They're all just trolls, though.
Draymond Green doesn't want to be a hero.
Kendrick Perkins.
Kendrick Perkins definitely didn't.
You keep bringing him up.
It just keeps coming up. We're talking about villains.
Kendrick Perkins will never be a Hall of Famer, but you still bring him up in every basketball conversation. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
You have to, because he was so impactful for so many teams.
True.
I mean, him and Big Baby Davis when they played for the Celtics in the Big Three.
Big Baby.
Talk about a great starting line, though.
Yeah.
You have Kevin Garnett, you've got Big Baby, you've got Kendrick Perkins, you got Rondo, you got Ray Allen, and you got Paul Pierce. Like, what the fuck?
I wonder if there's any...
Sure, super team. But again, that's the conversation of, like, it was done behind closed doors.
Well, no NBA team, other than the Mavs that one time, wins without having a super team.
That's why I appreciated the Mavs championship.
Toronto wasn't a super team?
Fuck yeah, they were.
A super team?
No, they weren't a super team.
No, they have Kawhi.
They had Kawhi. Who else? I mean, there's no other superstar there. There really isn't.
No, I guess that's true. It's just
on an elite
so
level.
Much depth, I guess, is what I like.
Right.
It's still like
they had a well-built team, and then let's give credit where credit is due. Mm-hmm. The front office made a brilliant move by getting Kawhi.
Yeah, they took a risk to get a ring, and they won their ring, and that's why they're not mad that he left.
Exactly. But I think they are, but still, they understand.
I do love that. Also, I would never want to leave Toronto.
Why?
Get away from Donald Trump as the president. Oh, sorry, politics. But but Toronto sounds like a cool place. I don't know. I guess a lot of players leave though. Like Toronto is like the craziest place because they've had Vince Carter, T-Mac, and Kawhi run through that bitch.
True.
Like it's like you wouldn't think the Raptors had those three guys. Who else has run? There's got to be somebody else who's run through Toronto.
Not many.
It's those three, I guess.
Yeah.
There's still three of the like most influential basketball players of all time have played in Toronto.
Yep.
Weird.
What's weird is that Vince Carter and T-Mac both went to Texas at one point in their career.
Yeah, Vince Carter came to the Mavs for several years.
And T-Mac
I'm going to go to the Heat.
Houston.
No, the Mavs, not the Heat.
I see what you did there.
Thank you.
But it is interesting. Like, so you hate Kawhi. You talk about Kawhi, and you still put him as your number one.
Yep.
Doesn't it make you feel weird?
Yeah, I mean, whatever. Like,
it's the same way if I put LeBron at number one. I hate LeBron.
Yeah, I mean, just because I don't agree with his decisions, I do know that he's the best fucking player right now. Mm-hmm. There's no doubt about that. You can't argue that Kawhi is the best player right now.
Who has the so let's change the topic to like the last topic of the episode.
Sure.
Who's the most influential player for their team in the league? We talked about best, but best doesn't necessarily mean you're the most influential.
Well, I think that's where the MVP voting kind of gets weird, is because everyone has a different take on, like, what are the qualifications of being an MVP for your team.
Yeah.
My personal opinion, it's, mix the stats, production with, have you single-handedly made your team incredible?
Right. That's why LeBron was MVP candidate for 10 years.
That's why he still won. Giannis.
Wait, you're saying most influential person?
Influential. And I'm not